The Dark Pyramid is this massive pyramidal structure under Mount Denali. Many people have seen UFOs, flying saucers, strange lights flying in and around Mount Denali. The Dark Pyramid of Alaska is hidden in the depths of Alaska's wilderness beneath the towering grandeur of Mount Denali. This gigantic pyramidal construction, which may be larger than the Great Pyramid of Giza, has prompted speculation and debate. Military cover-ups, the sightings of UFOs, and unexpected disappearances of local news coverage all present a bleak picture of secrecy and otherworldly forces. Join us as we look at the horrifying narrative of a military officer's surprising discovery, the strange disappearance of media coverage overnight, and the contrasting testimonies. The initial shocking discovery. Doug Muchler set out on a trip of mystery and intrigue in the tranquil woodlands of Dayton, Ohio, far from the wide plains of Alaska. Doug, a former Army Chief Warrant Officer and seasoned veteran of U.S. counterintelligence, had moved from terrorism and espionage investigations to a remote station in Fort Richardson, Alaska, in 1989. He had no idea that this step would pave the way for an amazing chain of events that would call his vision of reality into question. When Doug arrived in Alaska, he did what any experienced officer would do. He became acquainted with the area of operations. In September 1989, as he was poring over maps, he noticed a wide stretch of territory that was prominently marked as unexplored and covered in white. His years of intelligence work had refined his instincts, which raised an obvious red flag. Why would such a big area be purposefully excluded from official surveys? What may be concealed there? Years passed, and Doug's suspicions were dormant until 1992, when a seemingly unconnected event piqued his interest. While stationed in Alaska, Doug came upon a news program about seismic waves induced by a nuclear explosion in China. These waves had traveled thousands of kilometers deep, giving unexpected information about Earth's makeup. What piqued Doug's interest was the notion of an underground structure, an enormous pyramid-like formation unearthed in Alaska that rivaled Egypt's Great Pyramid of Giza. The news was electrifying. It appeared to confirm Doug's previous assumptions regarding the white outer region on the map. Doug, eager to learn more, attempted to capture the news program, but the following broadcasts did not mention the discovery. Confounded and increasingly skeptical, he began to doubt the veracity of what he had heard. Why was such a significant discovery supposedly concealed from public knowledge? Who had the authority to suppress such information? Doug was undeterred, and his search for answers took him deeper. Doug, who was now stationed at Fort Meade in Maryland, scoured military records in 1999 for any reference of archaeological findings in Alaska. He discovered a file that appeared promising, containing details regarding the mystery pyramid. His excitement was short-lived, however, as two dark people emerged out of nowhere, snatching the documents and angrily warning him against any further investigations. Their assertion that the information was confidential and not intended for his eyes only increased Doug's desire to discover the truth. Doug's story is one of tireless pursuit set against a backdrop of mystery and intrigue. It raises serious issues about what lies under the Earth's surface and the lengths governments will go to protect their secrets. Was there actually an underground pyramid in Alaska? A masterpiece of ancient engineering hidden beneath layers of secrecy? Or was it all a perfectly planned hoax intended to distort perceptions and control information? The Revelation by Marty Johnson. The passage of time frequently obscures the spectacular occurrences that shape our perception of the world. Doug Muchler, a retired Army Chief Warrant Officer with extensive experience in U.S. counterintelligence, saw 2012 as a watershed event. From his home in Dayton, Ohio, he contacted Linda Moulton Howe, an investigative journalist residing in central New Mexico, with a shocking revelation. Doug's email to Linda alluded to a long-buried secret, an incident in Alaska in 1992 that powerful forces appeared determined to keep out of the public spotlight. Linda, intrigued and skeptical, set out to discover the truth. She began contacting anyone who could be aware of a pyramid unearthed during a nuclear experiment in Alaska. Her efforts produced unanticipated effects. An anonymous caller, whose identity is still unknown, corroborated Doug's assertions. This intriguing informant described a gigantic subterranean pyramid in Alaska, made of pure black stone that was 550 feet tall. Referred to as the Dark Pyramid, its presence was shrouded in secret and subjected to covert military surveillance. This revelation astounded Linda. The ramifications of such a discovery were profound. It implied a massive archaeological find with the ability to rewrite history. However, the secrecy surrounding it aroused troubling concerns. Why was such a significant discovery hidden? Who had the authority to suppress this information, and for what reason? Meanwhile, Marty Johnson, a seasoned Navy engineer with a long history of working on top-secret projects, found himself lured into the emerging mystery. Marty's trip to Alaska was not unlike many of the jobs he had completed throughout his employment. He was transferred from Omaha, Nebraska, to an unidentified site near Unalakleet, Alaska, via bus with blacked-out windows. Marty's excitement mounted as the bus drove into the freezing tundra, accompanied by other engineers and technicians. Marty's electrical engineering expertise, developed during his time at Bell Labs, had brought him to the forefront of new technical advancements following World War II. His breakthrough with transistors transformed electronics, yet most of his career was cloaked in secret. He frequently found himself away from home, unwilling to reveal the nature of his projects, a monument to the confidential nature of his job. Marty was met by the stark, snowy expanse of Alaska's scenery when they arrived after a grueling 6-hour drive. The severe cold and seclusion heightened the air of mystery around their quest. Marty and his colleagues were led into a concrete cottage before being directed to an unexpected subterranean lift shaft, a portal to a mysterious land lying beneath the cold tundra. As the lift plunged into darkness, Marty's mind raced. What lies beneath the surface? What was the purpose of this clandestine mission? The solutions escaped him, but his curiosity and feeling of responsibility drove him forward. Marty was taken aback by the sheer size and complexity of the vast military base as he emerged from the lift. The corridors, which were painted in drab greens and beiges, took them deeper into the facility's labyrinthine innards. Whispers among the group hinted at the importance of what lay ahead, a discovery that went beyond regular military sites. Marty and his co-workers were led through tough security steps before arriving at a massive steel door. Marty caught his breath as it cracked open to reveal a large, dimly lit chamber. The Dark Pyramid, the culmination of their clandestine expedition, stood before him. The pyramid stood 550 feet tall and appeared to be made of solid black stone. Its imposing presence and antique design spoke eloquently about a society lost in time, demonstrating human intelligence and architectural prowess. The officer accompanying them spoke with pride and reverence, appreciating the significance of their finding. Standing in the shadow of the Dark Pyramid, Marty experienced a deep realization. This was no ordinary assignment. It was a historical encounter, demonstrating the resilience and ambition of those who came before us. However, despite the breathtaking display, questions lingered. Who created this pyramid? What function did it serve? Why had its presence been secret for so long? Linda Moulton. Howe maintained her inquiry over the miles, pulling together shards of information from many sources. Each revelation adds layers to the story, including clandestine operations, hidden truths, and the never-ending chase of information. Doug, Linda, and Marty's collaboration demonstrated a shared resolve to uncover the mysteries of the Dark Pyramid. Their paths, different but interwoven, converged on a search for truth that crossed geographical boundaries and spanned decades of secret. As they explored deeper into the mystery of the Dark Pyramid, they encountered barriers and foes desperate to keep silent. Lee Pearson's terrible helicopter flight. In the spring of 1978, at Unalakleet Airport in Alaska, Lee Pearson, a former military man now dedicated to education, overheard a conversation that changed his perspective on the world. A seasoned helicopter pilot sat across from him, sensing Lee's craving for the adrenaline-fueled days of his military duty. This pilot, who was still serving in the Army, saw an opportunity to share an incredible experience with someone who enjoyed the thrill of adventure. The pilot, aware of Lee's fascination with combat stories and the draw of Alaska's harsh environment, proposed a dangerous flight into the center